Ever wish your gut had a reset button? This week I'm chatting with traveling homeschooling mama Janeen Marino about bioactive peptides, what they are, how they may support your gut repair, and why calming inflammation matters for, well, everything. Hey friend, welcome to Gut Fix. Are you ready to finally get rid of those debilitating digestive symptoms? Do you catch yourself staying up late Googling things like, what can I eat? Or how do I stop a flare? Or maybe you're just lying awake wondering, how did this ever happen to me? I'm Wendy, and I've been exactly where you are, desperately searching for answers, but determined to find natural solutions. And like you, I was overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there and unsure of what might really work for me. And so now in this podcast, I'm here to share with you what I've learned, how to listen to your body's signals, and uncover the common mistakes that might be standing in the way of your healing. So grab your favorite drink, pop in your earbuds, and let's dive into your health transformation together. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Gut Fix. Today I am back with my friend Janeen Marino, who is world schooling mama of five. She's a business mentor and crunchy wellness enthusiast, obsessed with biohacking. And she's here to help you reclaim your energy, feel strong, and thrive naturally. So, welcome, Janine.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
Actually, we're in the US right now. We are right in between trips. We are getting ready to head to Europe in a couple days.
Oh, how exciting. What a fun lifestyle for your kids too. Well, today I wanted to talk about we've talked before and we've been on a podcast before, but I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about your Make Wellness business, which is holistic peptides made from nature and how they can connect to the gut. Well, like what specifically can the listeners glean from in helping their gut?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is such an important conversation because we know that so many things start in the gut. And so one of the things that I think are is really key with gut health is inflammation. I mean, if you have inflammation going on in the body, then you're going to struggle with gut health. It doesn't matter if everything else looks perfect on paper. Inflammation is will be in your gut and it could be, in your brain too because of that gut brain connection. And so I think that's kind of the biggest piece is to lower inflammation and to also help with like increasing your NAD plus. I know that's like kind of a trendy word right now. I feel like everyone is like, I feel like I see supplements about it all the time, or you can get injections. But the coolest thing about these peptides is it actually increases your levels naturally. So you're not just dumping the supplements into your body and hoping it does what you want it to do, but you're actually increasing it. So then also your body isn't like, okay, I've got NAD. Now you don't have to produce it anymore, right? So I think that is like a really big piece to gut health.
Yeah, so two really important things that you just said is yes, inflammation is at probably the core of all chronic disease. And of course it does, I mean, pretty much everything starts in the gut. And I was thinking about a couple of episodes ago, we were talking about inflammation, and 99% of the population, not just in the US, all globally, is inflamed to some level. And it's because of our food supplies, it's because of the chemicals, it's because of all of the things that were the EMF, everything that we're throwing at ourselves is causing this inflammation. And so, yeah, I mean, that's huge. And so you also touched on, the NAD plus, which yes, that is quite a buzzword these days. And, not just dumping it in the body, but having your body produce it. So tell us a little bit about how the peptides actually do that rather than, like you said, dumping NAD plus into the system.
Yeah, for sure. Well, basically, what a peptide is, it's a short chain amino acid, and we actually have peptides in our body. So that's part of the way that our body is able to recognize what it is and, use it in the right way. And it's actually works kind of together. And really, it's that cell signaling. So it's telling your body what to do. So it's not just putting supplements in and hoping we're absorbing them correctly and hoping that it's doing something what we want it to do, right? But it's more of, actually like being precise in do this task, like it's basically like a messenger. Like I always think of it as like it's like whispering to your cells, like go do this, And one of the things that is important in that too is the making sure that our cells are hydrated enough to be able to get in there. And so one of the things we have is an electrolyte, and it's interesting because I was researching electrolytes at one point in time because we travel full time, so we actually stock up on stuff before we leave the States. And I was trying to find one that was similar so I could like bring like a tub instead, or like something. I was like, we need more, and I couldn't find one that didn't have or that had glycine in it. And glycine is such a big piece of that because it helps to get hydration into the cells, but it's also an amino acid that plays kind of an important role in protecting and like rebuilding the gut lining and also helping with like inflammation in the digestive tract and also, supporting kind of getting the body to release inflammation because if you're dehydrated, that can be like another issue that adds to it. Like there's so many things that go into gut health, even like cortisol levels and all of that have an effect on our inflammation and our gut. It all really kind of works together, which I think is, I don't know, so beautiful the way that the body is made in that way.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It always amazes me. I'm just constantly amazed by the body's innate ability to heal itself when you give it the proper nutrients and treat it properly and take care of it and listen to the signals, right? Because the body's always telling you something's off. If you have a symptom somewhere, they're not normal. They may be common, but they're not normal. And back to that hydration thing, that's one of the key things that, especially for my clients who drink like filtered water or reverse osmosis water, like I do, you're taking not only are you taking all the bad stuff out, but you're taking all the good stuff out too. So you've got to replenish it somehow because those levels will deplete. Um, and so tell us, what are your core products and what would you like recommend to somebody who had some gut issues?
So I think it kind of depends on where they're at, like what their goals are and what they're struggling with. So one of the things that I think is important for that gut brain connection is focused and fit. And so focused helps with really, I mean, focus, like what it says, it does. So it really helps with brain health. It helps with dementia, but it also is a key piece to that gut brain connection because of how it helps with brain health. And so that is one that actually has like a ginkgo biloba peptide in it. So that makes a really big difference and also helps with eye health. It helps with protecting your eyes from blue light. And then fit is my favorite. It is by far my favorite. Like I had no idea how much I was going to like it when I first, tried it, but it really makes a huge difference because it's helping your increase your NAD plus levels, which does so many different things. I mean, it has such a huge list of benefits. It's like anti-aging, basically. Your NAD plus levels kind of plummet once you hit 30. They start going down. And so it has made me feel like I am a decade younger. It really has. It's helped with my skin, my hair, it's helped with building muscle, which is such a huge key to metabolic health, but also lowering the risk of chronic disease, and so it helps with that. And then also with, gut health, because it helps to lower inflammation, which is key. I've had a lot of people that have like arthritis and stuff have like less pain. People that have restless leg syndrome have, you can sleep better because it's working on a cellular level. It's like mitochondrial support. So I think that's really a big one. And then obviously hydrated, I think that's huge, especially, if you want to get the peptides into your cells too, that's really key. And then depending on if you are someone that maybe needs to like lose fat, especially that bad fat, like the visceral fat, then lean is really great at targeting visceral fat. And I feel like when we target our visceral fat, like not only does that also help to lower the risk of chronic disease, it also helps with gut health. It really is like if you're looking at like the bigger picture, like that is really something that helps with, just overall metabolic health, which leads to a healthier gut.
Yeah, you touched on so many important things in there. I was thinking about when you were talking about the fit and the muscle health, and that is something that as we get older, and I'm in that crowd, is I realized that I used to be such a cardio queen, right? I used to run marathons. I ran 6 in a year. I mean, like a maniac. But I did do some weight training, but back then it was cardio, cardio, cardio. And
Yeah.
as we get older, it's that muscle that really is going to help with that longevity. And the key to aging is we need more muscle mass because we start to lose it. It just starts to atrophy if you don't use it. And so the fit is good for that. And also, when you were talking about visceral fat, that kind of made a debut for a while, and it seems like it's gone away, but it is such a problem for so many people. And I think that's too where that carnivore diet came in, and so many people were talking about, lowering visceral fat with the carnivore diet, which I I'm sure it has a time and a place, but I'm not a big fan of.
Same.
Yeah, I think we definitely do need plants and veggies. But I'll digress on that. But so the focused, the hydrated, and the fit are your top three favorites. And so if somebody wants to get started using these, would you recommend those three first?
Yeah, if gut health is your goal, absolutely. I would recommend those first. And I actually sometimes will recommend people go on fit for a little while, even if they're wanting to burn that visceral fat, just to get rid of some of the inflammation first, so
Mm.
that then they can kind of burn the fat. Like I feel like sometimes like things work better. And the thing with peptides too is they kind of have a ramp up period. So they work better over time because that cell communication like gets better. It like starts off where you're like, it's like Chinese talking to Japanese or something, but like eventually it gets better and better and better, and it works better and better. And it's something that I have definitely experienced, in the time I've been taking it too.
Yeah, it's amazing that and when you were talking about the fact that it takes a while. I think that this is something that I tell my clients all the time is that you're not going to get instant results with anything that we do because you didn't get here to this point of not feeling well overnight.
Right.
Therefore, you're not going to correct it overnight. So it's not like taking, a medication or a pharmaceutical that's going to that's going to attack a symptom. You're putting your body back in balance, and that takes time. And so, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I know everybody's different,
Yeah.
and every body is different, and it depends on how far off the rails you've gone with your health.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
But typically, in general, how long would you say you start to notice most people see results or feel differently? I don't want to say see results, but feel differently.
Yeah, I think well, it depends on the product first off. Focused, generally you're gonna notice that right away. Especially if you're someone that struggles with like ADHD or something. Like I've had people get off Ritalin and stuff and all that Adderall and be able to take focus. And sometimes they might need two instead of one, if it's really severe. But I've seen a lot of people be able to do that. But if you're looking for gut health or weight loss or that kind of thing, that's not something that's going to happen overnight. I have seen some cases where they do like lose 10 pounds in the first week. I mean, it's rare though. That's not the norm. That's not most people's experience with it. I feel like I always tell people, give it 90 days. Like you really need, and if you're like more unhealthy, like the healthier that you kind of steer yourself, you're going to probably see results faster. And then again, if you're not, like if you're drinking beer at night and you're eating McDonald's, like it's going to take a lot longer.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's interesting because our cells turn over every 90 to, I don't know, I've heard between 90 and 120 days. So it takes that long for a cell to renew. So it just makes sense that it's going to take that long to see results with anything. I mean, I'm not, not just these, but even when people start taking supplements, they're like, I've been on this for a week and I don't feel any different. Well, that's because your body is way out of whack and you didn't get there yesterday. So.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
interesting. And so how would somebody learn more about, these products, but also I know there's a business opportunity here too. And so how can they learn more about those two things?
Yeah, well, I mean, we could link some things in the show notes here so that they can kind of check out some more information. The one thing I love about this is because it is, it's scientifically backed, it's clinically proven. We have the white papers on, the products. We have, all the clinical studies and everything. And also this is just the beginning. Like this is next level wellness when it comes down to it. Peptides have been around for a long time. Insulin is a peptide, Ozempic is a peptide, but those are synthetic peptides, and so those have lots of side effects. These are GRAS certified, so generally recognized as safe by the FDA. They're just about to be NSF certified as well. And so, we have all the things to kind of back it. So if you're like, I want to nerd out on the science, then we can get you that. And if you're like, okay, it works, like just give me the link. We can do that too. Because I feel like, there's two different kinds of people of like, how much information do you want? But the thing that I really have loved about it is just really seeing people like be able to optimize their health, because we're not just attacking symptoms, like these are multifunctional. And so it's really helping with, like there's all kinds of things that like people have had like more mild menstrual cycles on fit. Like that's like something nobody expected, but across the board, I've been hearing that. And so there's so many things that it helps when you're working on a cellular level and you're healing on a cellular level and working on cell regeneration. And so, anyways, that was a long answer.
No, it was a perfect answer because made me also think that, I tout this all the time. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I say it. Everybody is unique. And what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for another person, in things like diet and foods and things like that. But same thing here on a different level is that somebody's going to maybe get different results or something that maybe somebody else might not get that result, but that doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that this person over here saw some added benefits. Yay.
Well, not only that, but it could also be too that you might not see those benefits yet, because when the body's working on cellular regeneration and all that, I mean, my brain kind of goes to, I really think that it prioritizes different things for different people for different reasons.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's another piece too. Like one of the things for me, I actually had surgery a couple of years ago where I had to get my abdominal muscles sewn back together because I was having lots of issues with it and I had C-sections and whatever. So I lost all my muscle and it was actually numb. And I thought I was never going to feel it again because I had heard, most people feel it again after 6 months. Some people it's 18 months. For me, it had been 3 years.
Wow.
And people never feel it again. And it's been 6, 7, 8 years. And within 3 months of being on this, like I can actually feel my abs and I've like been able to like make them stronger. And that's like such a huge thing is like when you're, especially if you're building muscle, like my recovery and all that, I lost like all my muscle. And so when you're building your muscle back up and all of that, like that also does a lot in the body. And so you're going to start to see different results, but that's not going to happen overnight. That's not something that can happen overnight. And so I feel like, everybody's body has different things going on to where it's like, kind of bringing it all together and looking at like all, and you don't know what's happening in your body. So it might actually be working on something that you just can't see yet. And so I think that's the cool part about cellular healing and all of that.
Yeah, and it's something you said is it doesn't happen overnight. And you honestly you don't want it to happen overnight because if it happens overnight, it's like, what is in that? Right?
Totally.
I started thinking pharmaceuticals. Yeah, okay, the symptoms gone, but I mean, there's no way my body got back in balance that quick.
Oh yeah, it's not possible.
Not possible. No. And it takes time. Everything worthwhile takes time, right? No
Totally.
matter what it is.
Yeah,
So I think this conversation has been amazing, and I know that the listeners are hopefully taking some notes and at least getting some great value out of it. I am going to put in the show notes a link to where they can learn more specifically, like you said, nerd out on the science of these peptides, but also how they can get involved in the business if this is something that they maybe want to do for themselves and you know make a business out of it.
for
Um,
sure.
and so, Janine, I thank you so much. And where are you guys off to next? You said Europe, right? For how long?
Yeah, we'll be kind of out that way for until March, but we're gonna be in Europe and then Turkey and I think we're gonna do Egypt and Morocco and stuff too.
Wow. Wow. And so you guys are going to be gone until next March, but you'll still be working your business. That's what's so
Oh
cool.
yeah, I, that's the part I love.
That is the best part. Well, Janine, thank you so much for being with us today and happy travels.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, friend, I hope today's episode brought you some real value. If it did, would you take just 30 seconds to share it with a friend who might be struggling to get her gut in check? And if you're feeling extra generous, leave me a review on Apple. It absolutely lights me up knowing that this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to grab my protein shake and get my gut happy. I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another episode of Gut Fix. And until then, stay happy and stay healthy.